Up next for the Maize and Blue, the waiting game. Very well could end up in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl if OSU is able to leapfrog into the college football playoffs. Failing that, trip to Atlanta in the Peach Bowl or Glendale in the Fiesta could be on the horizon as Michigan should get a New Year's Six game. We welcome Danny Rogers back in with more from Michigan.
62-39 the final here in Columbus. I'm now joined by Isaiah Hull, lead publisher of WolverinesWire.com. Isaiah, what didn't work for the Wolverines today?
Nothing. There was nothing that worked for Michigan in this game. Michigan had to basically bring at least its B game to this game in order to win, and it brought its F game. Ohio State, despite seeming very vulnerable, is still Ohio State, and nothing was working offensively. Nothing was working defensively. I mean, defense, that was the biggest surprise, is the fact that the defense let Ohio State score 62 points. Could have been 69 if Ohio State didn't take a knee there at the end of the game. And the fact of the matter is the highest that Ohio State had ever scored to this point in this series, going all the way back through the rich history, was 50. So they could have surpassed that by 19, ended up surpassing it by 12. I don't really understand what Michigan was trying to do, aside from the idea that it wanted to control time of possession and it wanted to limit Ohio State, their ability to run 80-plus plays like they tend to. Well, mission accomplished, Michigan. You actually did get both of those things, 35 minutes and I believe it was 67 plays run by the Buckeyes.
In the second quarter, the Wolverines scored 2 touchdowns within 6 seconds. Did that seem like it was the last chance for the Wolverines to make a comeback?
No, it kind of felt, I thought about midway through the third quarter, things kind of still felt like they could swing Michigan's way if the defense could just make whatever adjustment it needed to make in order to make a stop.
What were the biggest adjustments this team needed to make that they just didn't?
Well, I mean, just being able to stop I have to go back and watch the tape since I was on the field, but for me, I saw a lot of crossing routes and things of that nature that they just could not seem to contain.
Does this loss define the season for the Wolverines?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any other way you can look at it. Unfortunately, I mean, you lose a close game, that's one thing, but to get absolutely embarrassed, that was something that we thought that was this team was above. We considered this team to be a college football playoff contender, obviously ranked number 4 coming into the game. They had a 55% chance of making it as far as the odds were concerned, and when you lose a game, it's one thing if you're Ohio State and you lost your game at Purdue, because that's Purdue. If Michigan would have lost last week against Indiana and then came back and beat Ohio State, it would have been a successful season. But it kind of has this if not now, when type feel, because you're not going to be able to win the Big Ten if you can't beat Ohio State.
Where could the Wolverines land in bowl games? If
they want to actually be able to go to the best possible bowl game, the weird thing here is now Michigan finds itself in the unenviable position of having to root for Ohio State. They need Ohio State to not just win, but win big against Northwestern and find itself in the college football playoff, because if Ohio State isn't in the college football playoff, they are more than likely to end up in the Rose Bowl. So Michigan wants them to go to the college football playoff if they want to be able to at least have the consolation prize of going and playing in the granddaddy of them all.